An instructional standpoint, why did we do this? What were we doing?
Establishing something in common between two strangers.
Okay, so looking at something common, what else? Sandy?
Getting to know each other in a small team, a small group, instead of just looking at the big group. So now, when I see Rabbi Gretz, like tomorrow, I'm gonna know the story of how he learned to drive, and I didn't know that before, so.
Okay.
You can't tell her.
I know, otherwise you have to kill me.
All right, what else? Why else did we do this?
You learn some basic facts about people, like now I know where Marilyn was born, and I know approximately what year she would learn to drive. And no, I don't mean like that, but through the story that you tell, you glean some basic facts about a person.
Okay.
What goes deeper than that? What you're really, and you're absolutely correct, but what you're also doing is you're opening up channels of communication and essentially freeing the people to be able to talk more of themselves and their experiences as they go into other facets of the training.
Yeah, and it's a very safe subject.
Right.
It's a safe subject.
Okay.
That's a good point that Sharon's made. It's a safe subject. It's something, and it's something that, you're not gonna find many people that live here that won't be able to respond to that topic.
Okay.
So it's a familiar
It
topic.
wasn't safe for Tracy.
It was risky, actually. Cindy?
The bigger scheme here is train the trainers, so if we take aside the task, it was how you launch the task and how we were instructed in how to get into the task and out of the task.
And who
Okay.
are
Those
the
types of
models.
things.
What about, I said, how did you learn how to drive? Was there something about the way in which you learn that got shared in your conversation? Tracy obviously learns and,
So I think that we all learn in different ways.
okay.
Which I think it's important to know when we're presenting to different class.
So what were some of the ways in which people learn? Not just the factual, I was in a simulator, but what were some of the things that are important to you in learning?
Plus,
It turns out that we were born virtually right next to each other, and we didn't even.
Yeah, it turns out I now know that Jamaica is just west of Astoria. I went first.
So geography is important in your learning perspective?
In your instructions, it was.
Okay, good.
Well, I think some were trial and error, as Susan said it. I'm glad that I didn't have to use for a daughter. It was scary enough with mine, but also, some are more formal learning, some are a little, more as you go. So, we all learn different ways.
Okay, great. So that's exactly why we did this, was to do a couple of things. One, to model what an icebreaker is and why we do an icebreaker. I'm just going to go over, there are a couple of clear sections to the icebreaker. What were they? What was the first thing we did?
paired up.
I paired up. And did I give you any other instructions when you
Yeah,
paired?
whoever's farthest away from geographically from Temple Isaiah has to go first.
Oh, it had to
That's
be.
not
but
right.
pairing
Okay,
up
yes,
was
okay, so you
very
paired up, you had to find
Somebody
who?
you didn't,
Somebody
somebody you
had
didn't know.
worked
Somebody you hadn't worked with. And why do we do that?
So you mean somebody new.
Yeah, one of the things we got out of the class from the feedback is people said the most important thing, or one of the most important things, was getting to know and meet other people. And if you sit next to someone you know, session after session, you're not going to do that. So this is a way to kind of reposition the people. What did I ask you to do next? What did I do next?
You posed the question.
I gave you the instructions. Okay, this is what you're going to do. Now you found your person. And then I said, I gave you what? Some instructions on how to figure out
Who goes first?
Okay, and what was it about that instruction on who goes first that was relevant to leading with the Jewish heart?
Somebody's got to take the initiative.
Hmm?
Somebody's got to take the initiative.
Yeah, somebody has to take the initiative, and somebody obviously was born further away from, Temple Isaiah, so you have a little bit of information about their Jewish background or their growing up or whatever it is. And you're not likely to find two people, unless they were related, born in the same house, so one of you will get to go first. In your book, you have a little list about what is an icebreaker, and it's just in there for you to look at. We do not have built into each of the sections an icebreaker. This is really the prerogative of the facilitator for that day. Sometimes you might want to use it. One of the suggestions that we would like to give you is a simple icebreaker that everybody could use in almost every session, is to ask people to find somebody in the room and to give them a couple of questions. One of them is, what do you remember from the last session? What is it you're looking forward to in this session? Or what did you not get out of the last session that you kind of want to get out of this one? So that's a simple one you could use, and there are also other ones that you could think of in relationship to whichever section you're doing. So they're good to do because it also, when you're away between sessions for a long time, it does a bridging act. So it brings you back to, oh yeah, that's what we were doing the last time. And no, I didn't get to sit with you, and I wanted to, so I got to sit with you this time. So, and you know, in a number of sessions, you'll get to work with all different people. Any questions on icebreakers and why we do them? Comments? Okay, great.